Hello and welcome to Chinwag, the debate show that gets you talking. I'm your host, Perry Bradley. On today's episode, our guests will be limited to topics that exclusively start with the letter M. Let's start the show. Today's teams will be battling it out to convince me to agree with their point of view. I will award a point to a person every time they impress me, and the team with the most at the end of each episode is awarded bragging rights over the other side. Speaking of which, let's meet our teams. Barbara, who's on your team tonight?
Tonight with me is my good friend Carol.
Hello. Lovely, nice to meet you both. Looking forward to a good debate. And how about on my right, Chris, who have you got joining you today?
Tonight I have Molly with me.
Hello.
Hello, lovely to meet you both. So let's look forward to the battle. Okay. Our first topic of debate will be centred around the monarchy. Flooding the tabloids over the past few weeks has been news of Prince Harry's engagement to the American actress Meghan Markle. Our junior expert Dan has more information for us.
Ah, Lizzie, you beaut. There's no doubt that the British monarchy is by far the most famous and iconic monarchy in the entire world, starting in 1066 when William the Conqueror was declared King of England. But we as a country have changed so much, and so has the royal family. And we find ourselves asking the question, do we really need the monarchy? Back in 2017, we spent 45.6 million on the royal family. Could 45 million of that not gone towards education, NHS, and the defence? However, the royal family does bring in tourism revenue, and at its core, it's what our British nationality is essentially built upon. So, what do you think?
So, let's begin. Barbara, you and Carol will be debating on the side in favour of the monarchy, and Chris and Molly, you will be arguing against. So, Barbara, start us off. What's your view on the monarchy?
I believe the monarchy is very good for this country. I have massive admiration for the Queen, who I believe has given us stability since 1952 when she was crowned. Many prime ministers have appreciated her kind of non-political view of things. She's been there through thick and thin for so long and has developed a lot of wisdom.
Absolutely.
Okay, good point.
Yes, and she's an excellent ambassador for this country. Goes abroad all the time, and I think the whole royal family are just brilliant, to be honest. They bring in a stack load of revenue, and they are evolving. They have changed with time, and I think they're amazing.
Okay, that's good. So can I get your side on it then, please?
They might bring in a lot of revenue, but we're giving out a lot. And you look at a couple, the Charles and Diana wedding and William and Kate wedding, and how much was forked out for those. What's wrong with a small unstated wedding? Why can't we put this money into more important services like the NHS, which is struggling so much, education, universities,
Very good point.
It could be
And
worse.
I think they were evolving when we had Diana, but they seem to have gone back in time. And Meghan Markle might be good, but we don't really know, is she going to be another Diana? Will she be worth the money? She could be. I don't know.
We'll have to say it's
Do they represent us also? I mean,
Yes.
I mean,
they don't know if they
royal
represent
weddings,
us. Do you think so?
the number of people that got pleasure from watching the royal wedding,
A lot of money.
including all the...
There is
services
happiness,
as well.
but surely
Do you
doesn't
think?
happiness come from a stable, living situation? So
The
education,
Queen gives us
doctors.
stability.
She does.
Sadly,
indeed.
I'm going to have to cut you all
We
off.
don't need them.
Sadly, that's all we have time for on
come
this
off it.
topic. So just to kind of arrange some award points to either side, very good debate, but I'm coming down.
Good on you.
So I'm giving
She's
5 points here, 4 points here. Okay. Right, so make sure you guys at home pick up where we left off on our Twitter page at Chinwag TV or on our website at www.chinwagtv.co.uk. Next up, we will be discussing money.
Oh, please.
So, making its way around the news at the moment is the cryptocurrency, Bitcoin. So here's a quick video to tell you more.
With Bitcoin, you're in control of your own money, not the government. But in a third world country such as Venezuela, it's a different story. But with more and more cryptocurrencies embracing the idea of privacy, it's increasingly easy for people to partake in illegal activities with little to no trace left behind. So, what do you think?
So, Chris, you'll be fighting on the side for Bitcoin and an exclusively internet-based currency. Barbara, you're arguing for traditional money to remain in circulation. So, Chris, can you start us off?
Well, for starters, do we need this? It gets in the way. It takes up space. Everything's virtual these days. We don't need money like that, do we? We want computers. We want access. We want transactions.
And I think money needs to keep up. You know, everything we do nowadays is
It's
surrounded
virtual.
by technology. But I do also think in the VT there, Dan said about how there isn't no trace and things can be, or Bitcoin can be used for criminal activity.
Surely not.
What happened before Bitcoin then?
Exactly.
Because money
Oh, it's been
laundering,
going for
fraud
ages.
was still happening way before
You can
internet
trace it
was
more
even a thing.
electronically.
You can.
We can.
It's
We
much,
can trace
much
them.
You try opening a bank account.
But
Just
am I
go
wrong
and
in?
try and open a bank account. You will have to give your identity and everything
I
else.
don't know.
But am
You
I
can't
wrong
just
in
pay
saying?
Is that true?
Am I wrong in saying that since before Bitcoin and contactless payments and things like that, there has never been any money laundering, any fraud?
Of course there's been money
any
laundering, but they're
crimes.
working very, very hard to restrict that and prevent it. And
As
at the
is
moment,
what is going on with electronic
no-
money.
Cryptocurrency has no regulation.
no,
It's been developed
That's a
though,
good
am I
thing in some
wrong?
ways, isn't it? No regulation. I
no,
don't know.
it's
I think it is.
Well,
Freedom, democracy, everyone has it.
and freedom for
point, good
terrorists to
But
launder
then-
money.
But then
Terrorists
before
can use
Bitcoin,
this.
how did terrorists get their money to launder money? You know, how did they go about doing? They must
Well,
have.
we're constantly doing a battle on that.
But they still happen. There are going to be faults no matter
Exactly,
what you
exactly,
do
come
with
on.
money. There's going to be faults everywhere.
My
so.
nephews and nieces love getting one of these through the post for Christmas
What
and
about
birthday.
electronic card?
And
It still
my
has the same
friends-
value online.
My
though.
friends who
Exactly.
have market stalls, I don't know what
Takes
they
up
do
space.
No.
without real money.
Another
They're going
very
to have
good
to
point.
develop like everyone else
Apple
has.
Pay.
Right. Okay, so thank you. Again, I think looking at the very good points, I actually think I'm going to have to give
Oh, come
5
on,
this
come on,
side,
come
3
on.
this side. Okay, some
Goodness.
good points made. Moving on. So this round we get to hear your thoughts. So in last week's episode we asked our viewers to send in their opinions on topics beginning with the letter M. Our teams will then have 10 seconds each to voice their views surrounding that topic. I will then choose who I think got their point across the best. So are we ready? Let's see the first video.
Go on.
Men. Who wants to be a man these days? If you're dating, should a man pay for the date?
So, Chris,
Oh.
your team has 10 seconds to argue with you on what we've just seen. 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, I don't know. Should a man pay for a date?
I think it is between the two people on the date, and I don't think anyone else should have a say on it. If the man
equality,
wants
it's
to
equality,
pay,
yes,
then the
pay.
man pays.
In
But
fact, let's
at
pay
the end
it.
of the day, it's their decision, not anyone else's.
Democracy.
Time's up. Okay. Barbara, it's your turn. Ready, set, go.
Love being taken out for dinner by a man. I also love taking a man out to dinner. So, there we go.
That's okay then.
Absolutely, yeah. It works both ways, doesn't it?
Okay, thank you, Barbara and Carol. I'm going to give this round's points to... So,
Yes,
so, okay, let's see the next video.
Right. Having a Muslim name, do you think it's going to affect me when I apply for jobs? Do you think I'll get the job or someone else with a British name?
Okay, so Barbara, your 10 seconds starts now.
My daughter has just married a black man from West Indies. My father-in-law will barely speak to him. Or her now. I'm afraid there is a lot of prejudice still in this country.
Right, thank you. Okay. Chris, it's your turn. 3, 2, 1, go.
In times of Brexit and Trump, ethnic identity and racial identity is kind of
It's
problematic.
a huge problem.
It is.
I don't think there should be prejudice against it, but unfortunately there is, so I think more needs to be done to prevent that.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you, teams. And I'm going to give the points to...
Oh, come on.
Sorry, my decision is final.
Step it up.
Okay, finally.
We need to.
Our discussion turns to a subject which is also making the rounds in the news at the moment. Masculinity.
Let's go for a pint.
Okay, as the definition of masculinity changes alongside contemporary culture, the idea of what defines manliness is constantly being put under the microscope. Once again, Dan was tasked with finding out more.
Oh, sorry. Didn't see you there. I was just busy having my 20th pint of the hour whilst fighting a tiger with my bare hands. So, masculinity. What is it? Is it a look? Is it a type of behaviour? Do you have to be a big bearded brute or a suave, sophisticated gentleman? Ronald Levin describes it as an avoidance of femininity, restricted emotions, sex disconnected from intimacy, pursuit of achievement and status, self-reliance, strength and aggression, and homophobia. But what makes a man masculine in a progressive society where homophobia is no longer the norm and strength doesn't determine how successful you really are? So, what do you think?
Right, let's hear from Barbara first. So this is, you're going to be looking at coming down on the side of traditional masculinity. So if you could fight for that, please.
Oh, I could. Give me a Clark Gable any day. I think that it was wonderful when men were men, when we knew where we stood with them, when they were clear about how they felt about themselves. I believe, absolutely.
Yeah.
I believe that unfortunately the rise of strong women has had a very bad effect on men.
Okay. So, but if you think that, then so should we not have the rise of strong women?
Oh yeah.
All right.
Yes, but the men should be slightly stronger.
Okay,
Absolutely.
right. Okay, good point. So let's just move it over to you. So can we fight against traditional masculinity?
You mentioned them being more clear about who they are in themselves. But that is because back in the day, men had to be so conformed into what society claimed as was traditional masculinity and how men should be, that they weren't free to express who they are freely. And I think nowadays we're seeing more expression coming from men in the form of art, makeup, dress, how they speak, how they talk. They don't feel the pressure to be all manly and take charge and stuff, because anyone can do that. It's not restricted to gender.
But I like a man to take charge.
But why don't you like a woman to take charge?
Sorry, so can we just hear from an angry man on the panel?
Okay, so it's good we see more men in dresses, for example. When you're in touch with a feminine side, you not only get the benefit of that feminine side, but also you are more in touch with who you are as a person. And I think a blend of a good character is a balance between masculine and feminine traits. So the more we are seeing the balance between those things, I think it's better.
At the end of the day,
it's not always true that we're seeing the balance, though, is it? There's a lot of examples of men reacting and becoming very, very laddish and rude and very disrespectful of women, actually, because that's my point exactly. They cannot handle strong women, and therefore they've lost all their grace and gentlemanliness, and they are just becoming nasty.
But then is that not their own problem? Why can't they control their aggression?
I don't know, you tell me.
Exactly. Not being funny. Everyone is different at the end of the day. Everyone has different levels of testosterone. It's been scientifically proven that testosterone, causes aggression and assertive behaviour. Women can have higher, and men can have lesser levels of testosterone. It all depends on who the person is, and if they want to display their masculinity with aggression or beards or checkered, or if they want to be wearing dresses.
Okay, right, lovely. Thank you. End of the argument. Now it's time to announce tonight's overall winner. Both teams have made excellent points on all the subjects that we've mentioned today, but the winner is... Okay, well done, ladies.
No, they were good.
You've been wonderful contestants as well. Sadly, that's all we have time for on today's show. Remember to send in your videos and join us next week, where you'll be talking about all things beginning with the letter N. I've been Perry Bradley. Thanks for watching Chinwag.